Person.
This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
All right, great friends. What's happening? It is Tuesday afternoon. This is Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man from the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com. Fellas, I want to throw this at you and you guys make a decision. You ready? Do we start today's show? Because I love the way we got started. Alex, the whole story about going to Linda's and the wedding at her place, and then maybe the boat down to downtown, all great, okay? But now if we were to jump into stuff, you want to start with the Padres getting smoked last night at Detroit.
Yeah.
You want to start with NFL training camps opening and this very strange Aaron Rodgers video that was also with like social media support. You know, like I saw Aaron Rodgers on Instagram with this video and I was like, why? Like if the Packers were tweeting this or Instagramming this, it'd be one thing. But for Aaron Rodgers himself, I thought it was very strange. So NFL training camps, Padres, Mackenzie Gore injury, just thinking about, where else you guys might like to begin. I'm suggesting, Dodgers losing last night, Tony Gonsolin's first loss of the season. There's a lot today that I want to get to. So I'll throw it to you guys. Where would you like to start?
Most definitely not with Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Please no.
And I would say let's start with the Padres because they play in 30 minutes. So
okay. All right.
That's just me.
Right, let's do. Okay. No, I'm with you. Brown, you got strong feelings, or you want to start with the Padres because they play early because they're in Detroit?
Padres it is.
All right, here we go. Padres. So the second half of the season begins, and there is a good vibe, right? Like, hey, there's news about when Tatis is going to come back, or the program that's going to get him back. So that's one thing. The second storyline, I think, is that the Padres have been called. Don't give me this Will Myers nonsense, will you please? What about Will Myers?
Rehab starts, playing first base. He's set to come back.
Damn. All right.
All those things were facts, by the way.
Yeah.
True,
What you
true.
true?
No, all those things were facts.
Those are all true statements.
All true.
If
fair.
I will
that.
Can I say this though about Will Myers and his impending return?
Mm-hmm.
What?
If he's the guy that's going to save us, then we might as well pack it up.
Right,
No. If this gets Eric Hosmer on first base.
Browner, let me ask you a question. If I said to you right now, Hosmer gets traded and Myers goes to first, you happy with that? You good?
Absolutely.
Okay. If I asked you to make a prediction, Hosmer as a defensive first baseman versus Will Myers as a defensive first baseman, who do you think would be better, given what you know of Hosmer and given that Myers has been in right field for the last 2 seasons? And even before that, when they tried to experiment with him at first and third, he really wasn't very good. So I'm just curious, do you think Hosmer would be the better defensive first baseman, or do you think Myers would be?
I think Myers would be better at making routine plays. I think he would never line up on the wrong side of first. I think he would be able to do the simple stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And in baseball at first base, you don't need to be some Spider-Man. Just catch the ball. And I think Will Myers will be able to do that. He won't close his eyes when the ball's coming. Like, there's lots of things that he would do that would kind of save us from a quarter of the stuff we're looking at Hosmer and going, what are you doing?
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe Will Myers is so new to first base that he doesn't have this ridiculous overconfidence that when he should bend his knees and get his glove on the ground and make a routine grounder out, he doesn't try and backhand a ball and then watch it go flying off of his glove and his body and then realize that the entire game has been blown up in one error. So maybe you're right. Yeah, but okay, so here's the thing. So there was excitement coming out of the All-Star break.
Will Myers did play first base for 2 years.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at his numbers. I'm trying to see like how well he did when he was a first baseman.
Hey, remember, the guy currently at first base is a Golden Glover.
So in 2016, in 149 games at first base, he only committed 3 errors. Mm-hmm. In 2017, in 154 games, he committed 8 errors. So far,
by the way, just a quick note.
Year, yes.
Yeah. A quick note is I can't believe how I have completely forgotten that Will Myers played that many games at first base in those 2 seasons. You said 16 and
His
17
all-star
or
seasons.
yeah.
All-star.
Last season in 131 games, Hosmer made 7 errors. So far this year in 84, he's got 5, which is, I believe, the 4th most in all of baseball for first baseman.
Say it one more time.
So far this season,
Mm-hmm.
Eric Hosmer has 5 errors. That's not including the errors that he made other players get for his terrible fielding. That's saying errors that he committed, like yesterday, a ball hit to him. He's got 5, which I believe is the 4th most in all of baseball for first baseman.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, so here, just back to where I was starting with the Padres, it was Tatis is now, has a game plan to get back to hitting. So that's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Browner says Will Myers is coming back, which is not something that I was planning on bringing up, but okay, it's a fact. You got me. The rumor mill around Juan Soto, which, by the way, I read a report earlier this morning that as much as we all think the Padres are the favorites to land Juan Soto, there's now a new report that the St. Louis Cardinals are the favorites to get Juan Soto because the Washington Nationals are looking at the St. Louis Cardinals farm system. And I guess there's more that they might like to have from the farm system of St. Louis versus San Diego or LA or whatever. So when you think about
that same report
stories,
too, that the Padres, the prospects isn't really even Gore and Abrams that has the Nationals interested. It's like Jackson Merrill. They're 2021 picks basically from the Padres.
Well, as far as Mackenzie Gore goes, last night, him walking off the field looking hurt, that has just, if anybody was interested in Mackenzie Gore, if anybody thought, hey, well, we'll put Mackenzie Gore into this because this guy's got a lot of potential. He was their number one prospect. All of a sudden, Mackenzie Gore is starting to look like a guy who had a couple of really nice starts. Now he's hurt. What did you say, Alex?
I said he's starting to look like Ryan Weathers.
Oh, wow. Jeez. That is make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen.
Below the belt.
That's getting personal.
Below the belt, bro.
I hope that he's not injured. I really do. But this is like the most innings he's ever pitched, like in like the last 3 seasons because of COVID, and then last year not pitching at all. And so I really genuinely hope it's not any Tommy John-ish elbow issue. I hope it's just sore, and I hope he's okay. But even if he is okay, it's been terrible.
Yeah,
terrible.
He just might have a dead arm, man.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Hopefully
man.
that's it.
Know
hopefully it's
there was a time there was a time earlier this year. I was sitting with a buddy of mine who's a monster Padres fan, and he said this to me. He goes, "Take out everybody's experience, take out everything you know about all the Padres pitchers. Just leave that off onto the side. If I told you today you have to have one guy start one game, who's your guy?" And at the time, Darvish had yet to get really hot. Snell was not back. Clevenger was not back. Trying to think of
Musgrove was killing it.
Musgrove was on it.
Manaea was pretty good.
But there was a time where this friend of mine said to me, he goes, all of those guys, Darvish's experience, Musgrove's experience, Clevenger's, et cetera, Snell, all those guys, I'll take Mackenzie Gore right now for one game. This is probably...
Your friend is Browner, right?
No, not my friend is not
Browner. said that too.
I'll air him out. I don't care. Okay. I'll air him out on there. You want to know who it was?
Craig Data.
Guy who sits in the third row right behind home plate. Who did you say? Ernie Hahn. Ernesto
Smart
Hahn.
Man.
Guy loves his Padres, got himself some of the dopest season tickets there are, and really knows the team, watches every single game. And there was a point in the first half of the season where he, and he wasn't alone, thought Mackenzie Gore was the best the Padres had.
I did too. I will openly admit that here and now, because he was. He was.
And I kept saying, we just saw this movie. This is the sequel. Everybody relax. Hopefully it doesn't turn into what happened last year, but it clearly did.
Listen, so what you're telling me is you were rooting against him.
No,
I said just temper expectations.
Everybody started talking about Joe Musgrove, and y'all was like, "Oh, you're rooting against him."
Yeah, temper expectations.
Well, you kind of are rooting against Musgrove because you just
like
want to
he
be
was
really
rooting
right.
against Mackenzie Gore.
Never rooting against Mackenzie Gore.
He got what he wanted. I hope he's happy.
Wow.
You got what you wanted. Hope you're happy.
Ecstatic, actually.
Yeah,
I bet.
Actually,
as Musgrove is falling apart, you must be
Not
loving
gonna-
it, Brown.
And
Not
let's
gonna
relax
lie.
with the
Not
falling
gonna lie.
apart. I keep saying let's relax with the
Not
falling
gonna
apart.
lie.
Look at your boy Mania yesterday. Like, that's exactly my point with Musgrove. When it's bad, it's really not that bad. Last night shows you how bad can go. Musgrove doesn't lose his cool like that, like Mania did yesterday. Like, Musgrove doesn't do that. He might have like a bad pitch here and there and gives up a home run. When it's bad for Musgrove, it's really not that bad. When it's bad for Mania, when it's bad for Clevenger, when it's bad for Snell, it's bad.
Same result. Same result. Same result.
Well,
Ale.
I mean, sort of, kind of. I mean, Mania went 3 1/3 yesterday, gave up 8 hits and 4 earned runs, whereas Musgrove went, was it 5?
5 1/3.
Mm-hmm. So he gave you 2 more innings, and he had been
4 runs.
scoreless through 5, and so it is different. I mean, you're getting a lot more out of Musgrove than you are out of Mania, but then again, you're expecting a lot more out of
And then
Musgrove than
put
Mania.
those 2 box scores next to each other, you wouldn't be able to tell a difference other than one went shorter than the other one.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
I don't agree with
That's
that.
That's okay.
Sorry, boys.
Here's the real
Sorry,
problem. But
boys.
see the rooting?
There's a guy rooting
Sorry,
against
boys.
Musgrove. See, that
Here's
is
the real
clearly-
problem.
Hey, no,
Yeah.
what you doing to me, though? What you doing to me? I'm not rooting against nobody. I'm just telling you what I saw.
Yeah, you're just
here's the
taking
real
too much
problem,
pleasure in
though.
somebody's failure. That's the issue.
I wouldn't call it that. I don't know why you would call it that.
That's what I would call it.
Well,
Okay.
here's the real issue.
You'd be wrong.
Okay.
The Padres have a lot of pitchers that stink right now.
Well,
That's a
here's
problem.
the thing. Well, but remember this part of the conversation in the first half of the season? The Padres have Darvish, Musgrove, Snell, Clevenger, Mania, Gore, and I'm probably missing one
Martinez?
starter. Was it Nick Martinez?
Yeah.
So at one point we thought the Padres have 7 legit, good, solid starting pitchers. There was a time where we were thinking to ourselves, maybe you take 2 of those guys and you actually make a trade for what you need offensively and in the outfield. And now this is why you don't trade any of those 7 guys, because you're going to need all 7 of them. And now Gore might be hurt. Mania might be falling apart. Martinez, I don't has just been nondescript to me, if you
He's like
will.
a sprained ankle.
Yeah. So I mean, it just goes to show you how as a season goes, what you think one day could change everything by the next day.
I just think that at this, again, ebbs and flows. This is one of these parts of the season, how hitters get hot. The pitchers have gone a little cold. Guys got to get their rhythm back. Guys got to get rolling.
What hitters have gone hot?
No, I'm saying just like in baseball, sometimes hitters get hot, just like hitters get cold. The Padres pitching staff has kind of lost their way. In a season that's so long, they'll find their rhythm again. I'm not worried about the pitching staff. You throw this many pitches, guys get injured. Guys got different types of bodies. I think that the current management is now learning what to do with Blake Snell. I thought they had a good plan with Mackenzie Gore. Again, this is the most he's ever thrown. This is the hardest he's ever thrown for this extended period of time. So he's probably his arms are probably a little tired. So they'll figure it out. Darvish has been pretty solid. Musgrove has been solid. It's evening out. Clevenger has probably been, of the people who I expected to be great, the worst of the group. So I'm not stressing it at all. These guys will find their way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stressing it.
Well,
I've been stressing it, and I've been saying I said a long time ago, you trade them now because they're excelling so well. You sell high. But now it's like, what value? So now basically people are already saying, if Gore is hurt, you can count him out of that Juan Soto trade. And now you're looking at other guys on the team. Like, no one's going to want to hurt Mackenzie Gore. So it's if you're not concerned about the pitching staff, because it's not just like 2 weeks of it. It's been about 2 months of it now. So if you're not concerned about the downtrend of the pitching staff, the downtrend of the bullpen, the still non-existent offense, then I mean, we're about to be in August. This isn't May anymore.
This happens to every it happens to every organization over the season in baseball. You run into a rut, whether it be at the bat or whether it be on the mound.
A rut is like 2 weeks, not 2 months.
And I wouldn't say it's been this problem for 2 months. The bullpen. See, when you talk about the pitching staff, you talk about all of it, from the bullpen to the starters. When I'm talking about the pitching staff, I'm mostly speaking about the starters. I know they go together as one thing, but my focus is always more on the starters than it is on the bullpen. Now, the bullpen has been terrible all year. That's not a debate. That's not a debate at all.
All right,
Here's
take a look
your
at this.
Starting rotation in July.
Yeah, for those of you that are listening on radio, we'll walk you through this. Everybody listening or watching on TV or watching on YouTube, you can see all of this, and everybody on audio podcast, again, perk up here. Perk up.
Well, Darvish is the only one that's done well. That's why I didn't put him on here.
Right. This is Alex's slide is titled, and I love the editorial here, Summertime Blues for the
Darvish
Padres.
and
All right,
Snell
Alex.
have been decent, so I didn't put him on here.
Okay, so these are Musgrove, Manaea, Clevenger, and Gore. Take us through what's happened to these four guys.
Record: Musgrove 0-1, 4.67
Terrible.
ERA. Manaea 2-2, 6.16 ERA. He's allowed 18 runs. Clevenger 0-3, 4.67 ERA. He's allowed 9 runs. Gore a 10.97 ERA, 0-1 with 13 runs allowed. And look at that batting average against Gore and Manaea. They're raking off these guys. It's not just that they're giving up runs. Teams are both of them allowing over a 325 average. It's not like a rut to me is like it's 2 weeks, It's like this is a month of bad baseball. This is 2 months of this is about how many weeks now since June 23rd? A full month since the collapse of this team.
This graphic just fits your narrative, okay? This fits your narrative. You want to make my guys look bad. And so you leave out the other two guys that are doing well that even out the staff. And this is what I'm saying. I'm not necessarily overly worried about it because there are guys performing well on the staff. And these four guys who, well, one clearly is injured, and I've never been a fan of Sean Manaea. I just thought he was an innings eater, and that's what he's basically been doing this year is eating innings. So I'm not really, worried about him or excited or down about it. Whatever he gives you to me is a bonus. I'm worried about Mackenzie Gore. I want to see more from Mike Clevenger. Like I said, Blake Snell has been up and down, but when he's good, he's great. And Darvish has been the steadiest of the group in the totality of what we've seen so far in the season. So I'm not worried about it. You over here with your clouded numbers, man. You got a cheating accountant. You just make the numbers look good.
I mean, Darvish is 2-2. Blake Snell's 2-2. They both got a 3.3 ERA, so it's not like they're excellent either.
They won some games. Those guys zeros.
Manaea won 2.
I didn't see that on the graphic.
Yeah, it's right there. It's on Summertime Blues.
It was 2-2. I thought it was 0. Oh, it was 2-2. Okay.
Yeah,
but the 6 though.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Here's the thing. Just look. The problems are as we go into the second half. This is where I began. As we go into the second half, you got to hope that, and it's just hope that Tatis comes back and is who he is. You're also kind of hoping that the Padres get Juan Soto. And once you heard that the Padres were the favorites, everybody just kind of runs to, well, they're getting him. Believe me, the Dodger fans think they're getting him also. And now today, the report that the St. Louis Cardinals have taken the lead. Everybody's in on this. And Washington still may hold on to him for all we know.
Right.
All that being said, Tatis is 1, Soto is 2, pitching staff issues 3, and then the ongoing issues of hitting and defense. Look, Hosmer last night, I hate to be the guy that's trying to just push Hosmer out of town. It just blows my mind that this guy has a resume that says World Series, that says Gold Glove, all these things. And I'm watching the broadcast last night, and even the Padre broadcasters are like, dude, this is not a play where you try and backhand a ball. That is a routine ground ball at first base.
That's it.
And any little leaguer, you would say, bend your knees,
put your chest
down,
your
glove on the ground,
put your body behind the glove.
Right.
Yeah.
And watch Eric Hosmer one more time. Again, we're watching it for those of you that are listening to the radio and listening to the audio. He goes to his right, and rather than trying to just take a routine ground ball between his legs, he tries to backhand it. Once the ball goes flying up in the air, runner safe. You want to know what happens after that? This is, you talk about a guy like getting upset, Manaea. Look what happens afterwards. Remember, Manaea went 1 1/3. After the Hosmer error to lead off the bottom of the third, single, sac fly, pop up, 2 outs, could have been 3, but due to the error, it would have been 3. Then a walk, and then a grand slam. This is on Manaea.
5 runs.
But it's really on Hosmer.
Yeah.
So this is going to give me a great opportunity to say to everybody listening on radio, everybody watching on TV, and every other platform, YouTube, and every other audio podcast platform, dude, go to our website, kaplanandcrew.com, and buy our t-shirt that says trade that man. trade Eric Hosmer. If Will Myers is working out at first base to come back to the Padres because right field may not be his thing anymore, are they planning on putting Will Myers at first to get rid of Eric Hosmer? Go to our website, kaplanandcrew.com. Click on our merch department here. And if you feel like I know we feel, at least I know I feel this way, trade that man.
Browner, would you? I'm trying to find common ground. Would you agree that the Padres have more problems than answers right now?
Yes.
I tweeted yesterday, and I couldn't figure out a proper way to figure out what I was thinking, but I said, if it ain't hitting, it's the pitching. If it ain't the bullpen, it's the starters. And if it ain't pitching, it's the hitters. Like, it's always something. It's never together. I would agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have not put it all together.
Well, there you go. Padres are going to play against Detroit again today at the top of the hour. So that's kind of a review of last night.
Don't give up 12 runs to like the second worst team in the American League, please.
Again.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Man.
It would help if you could fill the easy balls, though. That would really help.
It would help. It would help.
It's a start.
Help a lot.
Let's do this.
Really help a lot.
Let's do this. Let's we have a lot more baseball stuff that we would like to get to, but let's transition over to a little bit of football stuff. How about that? NFL training camps are opening, and let's talk some NFL football. Stick around. We're in the 7 Mile Casino Studios. This is Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Dominating the SoCal radio airwaves for over 20 years. Join Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner for Kaplan and Crew every Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. Only on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk, and the mightier1090.com.
Please welcome in tax attorney Adam Brewer. Adam, thanks so much for joining us again on Main Street Living.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be back.
So, of course, we have more tax questions for you. First of all, what are the types of business entities that business owners can use?
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd ask this question. So this time of year, this is when, business owners probably just got handed a pretty big tax bill. And so naturally, the next question is, how can they save taxes? How can they save on taxes? And so that's where these business entities really, they may come in. So yeah, what we're looking at is corporations or limited liability companies, more commonly called LLCs. So definitely by using either a corporation or an LLC, business owners may be able to really save on taxes. For the most part, when we talk about tax savings, we're looking at like an S Corp election. And so again, an LLC can do that, a corporation can do that. But the net result is you want to save on what's called self-employment tax. So for 2022, a business owner is going to, by default, pay self-employment tax on the first $147,000 of taxable income. So that's 15.3%. By doing an S Corp election, putting yourself on payroll, you can really drive down how much of your income you have to pay that 15.3% at. Beyond the tax savings, it just offers an extra level of protection between the business owner's personal assets, say their home, and their business operation. So, no matter what business you operate, you're going to have some exposure to liability. So an entity like a corporation, like an LLC, it just puts that extra level of protection between the business and then what the owner has on their personal side.
Yeah, well, clearly a plethora of information that you always provide to us, Adam. We appreciate you being on the show. Where can our viewers get in touch with you for more tax help?
Yeah, like always, they can visit my website, triumphovertax.com, or feel free to pick up the phone. You can always give me a call, 619-591-9500.
The 2022 San Diego Loyal season continues. Live on Your View and YourView.com. Watch the Orange County SC take on your San Diego Loyal Saturday, July 30th at 7 p.m. Support the San Diego Loyal as they continue their bid for the 2022 USL Championship. Orange County SC versus the San Diego Loyal, Saturday at 7 on Your View.
Welcome back. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, John Browner, and Alex Padilla.
All right, great friends. This is Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man from the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com. I did mention that I wanted to transition into some football, which I'm going to do in a few minutes. But I figure, you know what? Since the Padres are playing the Tigers again and the game's kind of starting as we're getting to the top of the hour here on radio, maybe what we should do is just finish off this Padres stuff and then we'll move into the NFL stuff. And I will just say this, coming up in this segment, Chip Brewer is the CEO of Callaway Golf. And I think everybody who listens and everybody who watches knows the story of how important Callaway Golf has been to this show. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for Callaway Golf, guys, honestly, seriously, no joke. If it wasn't for Callaway Golf, what would you be doing today, Alex? What would your job, career, business, what would you be doing today if it wasn't for Callaway Golf?
I have no idea. I have no clue. I was living off my severance and enjoying life at that time and just doing this because I thought it was fun and I'd enjoyed myself. But if it wasn't for the continuation of the show at Callaway, I don't know. I really genuinely don't know.
Yeah. How about you, Brown?
I'd probably be a full-time comedian. That was the plan.
Wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, that was a backup plan. That was a backup
What do you mean
plan.
backup plan? When you were thinking about doing comedy before we got you up on stage at the Comedy Store with Lawhead and before we got you at Grand Comedy and before, by the way, Browner took the mic last Wednesday night at the Kraken in between sets of Bill Hagan's band. And in 2+ minutes, Browner had the whole place just rolling, you know, which is why I said to him, I go, you take the mic. I'm going to get up there. Hey, thank you for coming. Oh my God, what a guy Bill Hagan is. Put the station back on the air, blah, blah, blah. Like I would have done all of that, you know. Browner grabs the mic and he's like, I'm the only brother in this mofo. I got something to say. This is some reparations all up in the Kraken. Yeah.
Even though it's very disrespectful to the other two black people there, I thought
they
so
were.
too.
Yeah. Listen, if you'd have been there, you were there.
I was there. Very
exactly.
Very disrespectful.
They were not exactly. They were not exactly. I mean, listen, all black people aren't one thing blanket. Okay, but
you can't say you're the only one there.
Only real one.
No, you're not the only real one. That black lady with those dreadlocks, she's black.
She was
she really black.
She had better dance moves than you. She had definitely had better dance moves than Scott. That's for sure.
Disagree.
That is a hard
disagree.
Well, listen, it's not that hard to beat Scott.
Although I will admit, I have been humiliated recently when you played that video and you posted that video on social media. And I said it last week when Browner, because those weren't my best moves. Browner invaded my space. Browner he invaded my personal space by shooting video of me dancing, and then you, Alex, put it out on social media.
Yes.
Then you put it on TV.
Antonio Brown dancing that Rolling Loud.
Yeah. Well,
nothing to be embarrassed about.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what.
Do you, boo?
Let the spirit move you, boo. Make your moves. Do your thing, Queen.
Thank you, King. So I will just say this, just to finish off this Padre conversation before Chip Brewer joins us. He's the CEO of Callaway Golf. Look at Browner go.
Yeah.
Look at him jam.
Padres aren't dancing like that right now.
No, in fact, Bob Melvin after the game, you guys want to hear him? He was a little bit perturbed, if you will.
Yes. With AC.
Oh, really? Oh,
Excuse the hissing. I tried to amplify the sound of AC's asking questions, but it's really difficult when they're so far off mic. So excuse the hissing. But you could see the annoyance of Bob Melvin and the frustration of what's happening with the team.
All right, let's go ahead and hear this and watch this.
Bob, it was a rough night, a long night, early morning. How much does that have to do with it?
0.
What needs to change for this team to be better?
We need to clean it up and play focused baseball every day. Every time we play like that, we lose. Every time we play clean baseball and focused, we put ourselves in a position to win.
In that you have been talking about that and addressing that before.
We need to quit talking about it. We need to do it.
Okay, so that was really annoying.
So I'll explain to you what AC said.
I mean, I just want to say to everybody that I love how Alex set this all up, like with an apology in advance.
Yeah.
Because after the whole Echo incident of Friday and all, everybody ripping our asses for the Echo.
Oh man, stop bringing up old stuff.
I like how Alex like apologized in advance. Like, the hissing sucks. I couldn't understand a word of anything anybody was saying.
Yeah, I didn't apologize for the echo. I literally don't care one iota about what happened on Friday. This was just because I was explaining. I wanted you to know that it was AC.
Mm-hmm.
So AC asked Bob how much of the travel from New York to Detroit overnight and a quick turnaround had to do with this loss today. Bob said 0.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes, well, what do you have to do to be better than what you've been? Bob says, well, we can't play like that. We have to clean it up. When we play clean baseball, we win.
Mm-hmm.
And then AC goes, well, how do you do that? He goes, like, we stop talking about it and we do it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the exchange.
Yeah. And then there was a quote from Manny Machado where he's also annoyed by everything that's going on. To win 2 out of 3 in New York and play the way they did, and then, to lose the last game the way they got smoked, and then to come back against Detroit in game 1, like, hey, the game doesn't really matter. It's almost like the Padres treated last night's game against Detroit the way Alex treated Friday's show. Right? Just didn't care.
Oh, I cared. I just didn't care about posting it.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So
Machado was asked about the recent struggles.
Mm-hmm.
And
Recent
Machado
struggles.
goes, it's effing 6 months, not 2 months. We continue to struggle a little bit and not have consistency, but it's 6 months of baseball. We have to keep going. Talking about guys that aren't here, that's all just excuses.
Is Manny kind of lashing out? I don't want to say taking a shot at Tatis.
Well, he's probably been asked about Tatis for all season now.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So he's like, what do you want me to do? Like, he's not here. We got to keep playing.
Yeah. What do you want me to do? Just tell you that he's going to be the savior the
Right.
second he comes back? Somebody sent me a message this morning on
Will
Facebook.
Myers too.
And
Will
he's
Myers
been,
too.
since his return from the injury, he's struggled a lot too. So he's in 203, striking out 22
off
times.
balance. Like the angle, and again, we remember the injury. We thought that he was going to be out for a month.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't,
Right.
but he's still feeling the effects of it. And so for him to just be going up to bat and just trying to get the job done, you got to take your hat off.
I just think that we're starting to see signs of frustration.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which is
also,
that's kind of my point. Is that Manny for sure is still hurt. Like, but that's not. I'm not like telling you there's no reason for his struggles. The point is that he's struggling. He's injured. He's struggling. He's frustrated. It's like it goes in order, right? Like there's a reason why he's struggling, and there's a reason why he's frustrated, and the team is paying for all of the frustration and all of the bad baseball. I mean, they're 8-14 since he returned, and that's with an All-Star break.
Think about his frustration though. If you remember back to last year when Machado was yelling at Tatis in the dugout, it's not all about you. Okay. It's not just about one guy. And now Machado has spent the entire first half of the season essentially carrying the team, then getting hurt, then coming back. And when he did come back, he kind of got off to a hotter start than we would have expected because we all thought the injury was really bad. And now when you just take a look at the last month, you see what's happened. And you can understand where Machado is frustrated with himself with the results. And now he's kind of like tired of hearing about Tatis. And he's probably annoyed at Tatis. Like, yo, man, like I'm 30 years old. I've been in the big leagues. I think is it 10 years or 12 years? I mean, he's been at it a long time, Machado.
Wow.
Like I'm 30 years old and I've been playing pro ball at the big league level for all these years. And I'm a professional. Okay. I earned this 10-year, $300 million contract. They gave you a 13-year, whatever it is, $400 million contract based on what they think you're going to be. Not that you earned any of this stuff yet. I mean, yeah, you were good as a kid, but they gave you all this money. And then rather than being a professional and being here to help me, I'm left by myself to not only carry the team, but also to answer questions about you.
Right. And you're not hurt because you were playing baseball.
Right.
Yep.
At the end of the day, I guarantee you, the longer he's out and the more the team keeps struggling, that reasoning for the reason for the injury becomes more annoying in their head. Like
I can guarantee you, amongst each other, like they've looked at him sideways when they find out how he actually got hurt. Because I'm pretty sure he told them when they asked him, and they're, oh man, come on, man, gotta be smarter than that, and kind of went the other way. But as the season goes on, you're right. the frustration builds because guys, they've had too many times where they haven't hit, and now you're struggling with the pitching, and the guy who you've paid to be the MVP level player is not there because he wants to be a daredevil in the offseason. So you just
Right.
right.
Right. Brothers
Knievel.
playing Evil
Evil
Knievel.
Knievel in the DR.
Right. He's the Dominican Evil
Knievel.
That's the next Fast and the Furious movie I read.
It's him on motorcycles.
I love how all of us come up with the exact same thing at the same time. All right, hold on for 1 second. Hey, Chip Brewer, the CEO from Callaway, is going to join us here in a few minutes. So, Alex, just alert me when Chip is available. Before he gets there, I want to just say one thing. Last night, guys, I think I told you guys this, but my son is getting ready to go back to college and he's leaving Tuesday of next week. And I've kind of come to this realization that, oh my gosh, the summer is winding down. And I don't mean for us. I mean, I just mean for like, if you have kids that are going off to college, like I do, this summer is winding down. My son's leaving on Tuesday of next week. My 2 daughters are leaving like the following week. I want to say like the 12th, 13th, somewhere in that neighborhood, 14th. So this summer is kind of winding down. So last night, by the way, my 2 daughters, guys, you guys will love this. My 2 older daughters, they're in New York City right now with their mom. Guess what they saw last night? By the way, Sunday night, they saw the Mets and the Padres. They went to Citi Field. They saw the Mets and the Padres Sunday night. Last night, guess what they went and saw in New York City?
Nope. A rat.
No, not a rat.
Nope.
They saw Chris Rock and Kevin Hart last night at Madison Square Garden.
About this.
Yeah. And I guess they were filming a Netflix special there last night. So like no phones, no nothing, So my 2 daughters are out of town. So it's just me and my son. So last night I hit the grill. Alex, you would be proud.
Okay.
I took a tri-tip, took like a 3-pound tri-tip, and I followed the directions exactly as they told me to do it, which is 7 minutes on one side to char it, 7 minutes on the other side to make it crunchy.
Yes.
And then 15 minutes on both sides off the heat. I sent you a picture of it because I'm like I'm kind of proud of it. I really am. I got the right amount. I didn't like get too much. I didn't get too little.
How'd you season it?
Oh, no seasoning at all. This is Cardiff Crack.
Oh,
this is just, it comes all season. And I made that rascal right there. And then we sliced it up and it was like Thanksgiving last night. And the reason I'm bringing all of this up is because I got to send a shout out to my man, Brian Bushfield, West Coast BBQ Shop, westcoastbbqshop.com. I watch Brian's videos on westcoast.bbq on Instagram. So that's his Instagram handle, westcoast.bbq. I watch his videos on Instagram, and that's kind of how I'm getting to learn how to best use the different apparati that I have for outdoor cooking. So if you're thinking about a big green egg, that's one way of doing it. Last night, I wasn't using a big green egg. I was using a grill because I didn't have the patience for the egg. And I didn't want to slow cook it. I wanted to hustle it up because, 15 on each side and 17. I mean, you're talking like 40 minutes to cook this thing, I didn't even get started till like 7 o'clock last night. So grilled it up. It was great. Anything you need for the grilling season, big green egg, Napoleon grill, Italian pizza oven. You want Brian and his team to come build an outdoor kitchen for you. You can come in and see all the components he has and all the hardware he has in the store. But even if you're thinking about like, I want a great tomahawk steak or great New York strip, Brian's got all the highest end meats at the best prices in his refrigerator. So come on down and visit West Coast BBQ Shop, westcoastbbqshop.com, and watch him on Instagram, westcoast.bbq. All right, I see Chip Brewer is ready to go. Chip is the CEO of Callaway Golf, and he's standing by from headquarters in Carlsbad. Hey, Chip, good afternoon. Thanks so much for being with us. How are you today?
Hey, Scott. Doing great and excited to be with you.
Me and Browner here and Grande were having this conversation before you came on about what would we be doing in our lives right now if it wasn't for Callaway Golf. Your guys, Jeff Newbarth and Jason Finley, that they saved our ass, right?
I assume somebody had to, Scott, but I'm glad they volunteered.
Yeah, because when 1090 went off the air in 2019, it was Jason and Jeff who said, come use our studios at Callaway. We didn't know where we were broadcasting to at the time, and that completely changed the course of the show to YouTube and audio podcast. And all we didn't know that years later we would come back to radio and then go on cable television. So we owe you and we owe Callaway. We always will be indebted to you guys. So I'll just say thank you as you get ready to kind of talk about some other stuff.
Our pleasure. Those guys are great. And it's nice to be able to partner with you.
So we have a common friendship, Howard Wright. And Howard's dad, Ernie Wright, started Pro Kids in San Diego. We've done a lot of broadcasts at their different locations, but they've got a big event coming up. It's next Saturday night. It's actually 2 weeks. It's August 13th. And could you just kind of jump into what Pro Kids does and what Callaway is involved in, and just the impact that it makes in the community?
Sure, Scott. Really proud to talk about Pro Kids and the Callaway involvement there. I mean, we've been partners with Pro Kids now for 26 years. So started way back when, as you said, Howard's father, Ernie Wright, who was a professional football player, hard as nails, tough guy, grew up, underprivileged and made something out of his life in playing pro football. But then when he retired, he decided he needed to give back, and he created an organization called Pro Kids. And it's a organization based around needy kids in downtown San Diego and now up in Oceanside, because there are 2 locations where they expose the kids to golf, get them into golf, but they really develop these kids into better people through the 9 core values of the first tee and better education and training and values. It's just one of the greatest organizations we've seen. It includes some golf in it, but golf is just the hook. The real thing is what it does to change these kids' lives, and it makes them better parents, better business people, better golfers too, but that's really secondary. It's just a wonderful organization, and Callaway's proud to be part of it.
Yeah, I remember when Howard first introduced me to it. And we went to the original Pro Kids in San Diego, and he said, "Look, this is not Carmel Valley. This is not Carlsbad that we're in here. And you know what? These kids, we're getting them off the streets, and we're using golf as the way to get them off. But look at all the computers. Look at all the classrooms. We're making major impact in these kids' lives. And it's true. Some of these kids have become really talented golfers, gone on and played college golf, as I understand it.
A big percentage of them become excellent golfers. One of them, Norman Zhang, is a Callaway staffer on the professional tours now, just won his first Corn Ferry event and has a very promising future in front of him. But as we've said a lot, it's just part of what we're doing there. What we're doing is creating better people, and we're helping underprivileged, often diverse communities in a way that they really need it, and making the world a better place. So the event on August 13th is the big fundraiser for the year for Pro Kids. It's called Celebrates. Callaway is being recognized at that with our 26 years of involvement there. And I invite anybody that's listening to this to go online and look up Pro Kids. And, if it touches you, you might want to contribute to it, because it's just a wonderful organization.
I've been to the facility a couple of times. I've covered a couple of different things there. And I got to tell you, man, what he's saying is very impactful for a lot of these kids, because when you get to this neighborhood, you see this is all that's in that neighborhood. Like, this is an investment made for these kids to not necessarily become pro golfers, but to just become positive members of that neighborhood, because they need it. And to see these kids be able to go inside that fence, be in that building, and not worry about anything other than what's in front of them, you can see the joy, you can see the stress just lifted off of them. And I think if you can get down there and see it, watch your investment, watch your donations, literally work within a community, I think it's fantastic.
That's great and well said. It's so true. I remember going down there during COVID, and they were handing out lunches because the schools were closed, and the local families, relied on some of the subsidized meals that they would receive at school. And so Pro Kids, it sounds like it's golf, but golf is just a little part of it. It's really a community service and activity for helping these young people become better members of society. And it's doing that. There's doctors, there's lawyers, there's all kinds of growth coming out of there that is just awesome to see.
We're talking to Chip Brewer. He is the CEO of Callaway Golf. He's in the Callaway Golf headquarters in Carlsbad. This is Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man. Alex, if you put back up on the screen for a second, the donations that have already come in. You know, Callaway has made a really significant donation yet again. There's another name on there, George and Merrill Young. I don't know if you know those folks. Do you know those guys, Chip?
I do. Just two of the best people in the world. George and Merrill have been great givers to all kinds of charities across San Diego. So really kind
I only
of them
bring
to
them up.
continue to contribute.
I only bring them up because I've known them forever, all through Billy Ray. You know, those are like Billy Ray and his wife, Kimberly. Those are like their BFFs. In fact, anytime you see Billy Ray at an Aztec basketball game, that's who he's sitting with. So I love to see George and Merrill's name on there. This is so cool that you guys are doing all of this. Chip, let me ask you a quick question here. I know you got things to do. You know, like you're running a really big publicly traded company. But do you have just like 2 more minutes for us?
Sure, Scott.
All right. Let me just tell everybody, Chip Brewer is here. He is the CEO of Callaway Golf. We were talking about Pro Kids and the big event that they have coming up, this giant fundraiser that's happening on Saturday, August 13th. We'll get you all the information as to where you can go to learn about tickets and contributions. But I also want to ask Chip just a couple other questions related to where we are in the professional golf world here for a second. Stick around. More with Chip Brewer. We are in the 7 Mile Casino Studios. This is Kaplan and Crew.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company, you need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
The Rich Eisen Show airs Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. An engaging blend of insightful football expertise with an offbeat mix of humor and pop culture while continuing to attract the most recognizable names in sports and entertainment. Only on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company, you need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
Please welcome 4 of the 5 San Diego County Teachers of the Year from the 2021-2022 school year. From Central Elementary School, Laura Reyes. From Westville High School, Tiffany Jokers. From San Jose Elementary School, Jacqueline Jorge. And from St. Joe Chavez Middle School, Todd Sanders. Teachers, please deliver the pitch. San Diego County Teachers of the Year with their honorary pitch.
I thought I was okay. I had a degree, I had work experience. I should be able to provide for my kids. But they're just things that you don't plan on in life.
My husband got laid off and we are a family of 5.
My mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I would ask the doctors, what can I do? And they would just say, just make sure she's eating. Our lives just changed completely. Thank God that we always had a plate of food.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company, you need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
Listen to the Mike Greenberg Show, 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday. Greeny brings his unmatched depth of sports knowledge, fun, and entertainment back to ESPN on a daily basis. The Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk, and the Mightier1090.com.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
It's time for some San Diego Loyal Soccer Club updates.
The Loyal moved into second place in the Western Conference after their 2-1 win against Rio Grande Valley FC last weekend. San Diego sits tied with the Colorado Springs Switchbacks at second place in the standings. The Loyal have beaten the Switchbacks twice and have the better goal differential. On Saturday, Tumi Moshabane and Evan Conway both had a goal and an assist in the win against Rio Grande Valley. It was a slow first half for the Loyal, but they were able to pick it up with a goal from Moshabane in the 39th minute and seal the deal with Conway's goal in the 55th minute. San Diego has won 5 of their last 6 matches. Additionally, they have scored in 19 of their 21 games this season, a USL Championship best. San Diego next takes on Orange County SC on Saturday.
That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Your View. You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the Mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
What's going on to all the great friends that watch the show on television here on Cox Your View? What you're about to see will never be heard on radio, won't be seen on YouTube, no audio podcast. This is just for you here on Cox Your View. Hey to all the great friends out there that watch on Cox Your View. You might be in San Diego, Orange County, LA, Santa Barbara. We're happy to have everybody here. What we love to do in this time is it's a Cox exclusive. This is stuff you're only going to see here on Cox. Not going to hear this on radio on 1090, not going to see it on our YouTube channel, not going to hear it on any of the audio podcast platforms. This is just for you guys that watch on Cox Your View. A really big show coming to the Scottish Rites Event Center in Mission Valley in San Diego. If you love trading sports memorabilia or buying or selling, this is going to be the place for you. It's coming up on August 6th and 7th. And here's the guy running the entire operation. Here's Joe Oliveri, known to his friends as Joe O from SD Collectibles, who's running this show. Hey, Joe, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Scott. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Let's talk about this. Tell us about why people need to know about your show, SD Collectibles, on August 6th and 7th.
Well, we have a great show coming up August 6th and 7th at the Scottish Rite Event Center, like you had mentioned, right there in Mission Valley. We have over 130 tables that'll be at this show. We also have Paul Lowe signing autographs on Saturday. We have Steve Garvey and Raleigh Fingers, which will be there on Sunday doing in-person autographs. We just have a really great collection of some of the biggest and best of the community, the card collecting community, coming out there August 6th and 7th, showing their cards, showing their collectibles. There'll be a lot of memorabilia out there. And really what we look at it as is something for every collector.
Yeah, when you say every collector, is it, from what I understand and looking at the website, sdcollectibles.com, it's not just purely sports cards. Is that right?
That's correct, Scott. We have sports cards, memorabilia, autographed items, quite a few unique autographed items and memorabilia. But we also have Pokemon, a large selection of Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering. There'll be vendors there that have comic books. As I mentioned, there's several autograph signers that will be there. We also have JSA, which will be on site for both Saturday and Sunday, doing in-person authentication, same-day services.
Well, that's awesome because for me, the one thing I know I'm most interested in, and I know a lot of people who are watching right now have the same thing. If you've got a piece of sports memorabilia that you are willing to part with, but you don't have authentication, like I have this Marshall Faulk football, the year that he broke the record where he was over 1,000 yards rushing and receiving for the Rams in 2000. I've also got this basketball sitting right here that is signed by every Los Angeles Laker of the 2002 World Championship team. So Shaq, Kobe, Phil Jackson. I don't really honestly know if they're authentic. I think they are. It's just I don't have the paperwork. So I can bring this stuff to your show and get it authenticated on site. Is that right?
That's correct. You can bring your autographed items, whether it's memorabilia such as those basketballs, footballs, baseballs, bats, cards, photos. You can bring them right to the show Saturday or Sunday. Stop by the JSA booth. Chris would be happy to help you there. He'll be on site with his team, and they can authenticate different items that you have that have autographs so that you can find out, one, if it's real, and two, it just gives it that much more value when it is authenticated.
What if I get it authenticated and I want to sell it? Is there a way for a private person like myself? I say private, I mean, like, I'm not in the business. Can I sell this stuff?
Yeah, you sure can. There's a couple different ways to do that. I mean, obviously, there's some online ways to do that take a lot of time and a whole different set of really procedures. But one of the great things that you can do, we have tables available and we have options for everyone. We do have some vendor tables available, 6, 8, and 12-foot tables. You can bring your items down there to sell. You can bring your cards, your memorabilia, and so on. If you have some memorabilia items like you're showing there, Scott, you can get them authenticated right at JSA, bring them over to your table, and you can put them out there for all of the attendees to see and see if you can make a deal on selling it or possibly trading it for something that you have a little more interest in.
All right. Well, while you're talking, I know Alex is putting up on the screen for everybody the website. It's sdcollectibles.com, sdcollectibles.com. Information about where, when, who's going to be there signing autographs, how you can get authenticated, how you can buy a table and space if you want to sell your own collection. Joe, this is going to be a fun show. This is going to be really cool. Give us any final thoughts, things you need people to know before you roll.
Well, one of the great things is it's a family-friendly event. When you come to our shows, you'll see a lot of people, both the parents and the kids, showing them around because there's something for everyone. There's bargain boxes of cards that are anywhere from 50 cents to $1 up. And then if you're one of those bigger collectors that likes to find those unique cards, maybe those graded cards, those Gem Mint 10, there's going to be thousands and thousands of those on display, as well as what's called the trading card game, the TCG, with Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, and so on, comic books, as I mentioned, autographed memorabilia and such. If I could give a special thank you to some of those in our community that have helped support our event. Stacked Packs, big supporter and sponsor of our event. Poke Familia, J-Lo Collectibles, SD Sportsmen, and OC Dugout. Those folks really helped support our event, and they'll be at the show. So if you have an opportunity to come out and attend, come by and say hello to those folks that have vendor tables set up.
Joe, it sounds like it's going to be a great event on August 6th and 7th. The website is SD Collectibles, and we'll see you down there. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Locally owned and operated, not some bland, uninspired, corporate, cookie-cutter radio station crap. We simply say to those stations, Q. The mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company, you need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
Home of Guiding Hands helps San Diego community in that we're a resource for families. A lot of times when families first identify that their child, their loved one, might have an intellectual or developmental disabilities, they don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. And we're here to help guide people through that process, to show them what a thriving life their loved one can have. It's a passion I share, having a daughter with a disability.
I really love the place that I live at. Because of Home of Guiding Hands, I was able to move out of my parents' house and into a beautiful home that I love living in. And so like if you have an independent living service coordinator, they will help you like learn more about being independent, and they help guide you through different things. They've helped me with lots of encouragement and love. They've also given me an ILS worker who is an amazing person, and I love her so much. She's great. I could tell you the first, I think, week or so, I wasn't feeling very confident in myself. The first couple of nights I was like, oh, this is scary. But I look back on it now and I'm like, this is so easy.
Main Street Living celebrates diverse abilities in partnership with Home of Guiding Hands, supporting the special needs community for over 55 years.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.